This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on 99th edition of Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat, organ donation and its importance. The participants are Dr. Lieutenant General Umesh Kumar Sharma, renowned nephrologist and renal transplantation specialist in Pushpawati Singhania Hospital and Research Institute, and S. Rangabashyam, AIR correspondent.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation on the 99th episode of his monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat. In today's Mann Ki Baat address, the Prime Minister underlined various issues and acknowledged the achievements of common people on various fronts. One of the important issues which the Prime Minister spoke about is the impact and power of organ donation. Organ donation is something which is, direly needed across the country because there are so many patients, so many people who need to have a new organ in order to live further. Dr. Sharma, let's start off with the importance of organ donation. For the benefit of our listeners, tell us what all encompasses organ donation.
Comprises of various organs like the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, the pancreas, the liver, and so on. When any of these organs reaches end-stage organ failure, in the case of kidneys, we call it end-stage kidney failure. Similarly, in the case of heart, a diseased heart cannot go on supporting the body anymore, and so on with the liver and other organs. Then the only hope for treating such patients is through an organ transplantation. Means another healthy organ is transplanted into this patient's body, and then he gets a new lease of life. Now, so far as paired organs in the body are concerned, like the kidney, it has been proven that if you have two kidneys and both are healthy, one can donate one kidney out of these two to a needy person, and when that person is transplanted after various tests, organ is compatible with him, then a life is saved. And the donor comes to no harm. This has been proven many times over. All over the world, such transplants happen. This is called a living donor transplantation. On the other hand, there are single organs in the body, like there's a single liver, there's a single heart. These things cannot be taken out of a living person and put into another person. That person also is dependent on the same heart. And therefore, what is done in such cases is that organs are obtained after death of the donor. This is called deceased donor organ transplantation. Now, deceased donor does not mean the standard deceased person, means who's been declared dead and we are now only waiting to cremate him. There is an entity called brain stem death. Our brain stem controls our vital activities of breathing and speech. The control rests in the brain stem. If for any reason the brain stem gets damaged, as in the case of say a road traffic accident, or a bleed inside the brain, or a tumor which is limited to inside the brain, and the brain stem fails, the person can be kept alive on a ventilator, and with advanced cardiac life support, the heart can continue to beat, and these organs can be harvested after explaining to the next of kin that this person is brain stem dead. So, these are deceased donor organ transplantation. So, this is the second way. Initially, all transplant activities started with living donor transplants, and so predominantly we were transplanting the kidneys because kidneys are a paired organ. Subsequently, when we realized that organs in good health can be removed from a deceased donor as well, a donor who is never likely to get up and leave the hospital bed, he is kept alive only on the machine, the ventilator and the cardiac support. So we explained it to the next of kin, and once this awareness spread, they can will his organs away, and then we can remove one heart, two lungs, the liver, both the kidneys, and pancreas as well as small intestine. So these can be transplanted into the needy diseased patients, Unfortunately, in our own country, deceased donor organ transplants are abysmally low in numbers because the fact of brainstem death is not very easily understood by the next of kin. Whereas in the rest of the world, a fairly greater number of transplants happen from deceased donor organs.
Dr. Sharma, for the benefit of our listeners, tell us, is there a age limit for donating organs a lower and an upper age limit?
We have in our country a Transplantation of Human Organs Act, THOA, Transplantation of Human Organs Act. Now, this act says that since we do not manufacture organs, we cannot sell them either. We can only donate them willingly, and this can be done during our lifetime. We can will our organs, and in the event that we meet the unfortunate fate of a brain stem death, the organs can be retrieved and utilized. Otherwise, living donor transplantation, the authorization is only for first degree relatives can donate organs to their near and dear ones who got end-stage organ failure. For instance, there's a patient A, either his parents can donate organs or horizontally his brother and sister can donate organs. Particularly, his son or daughter can donate organs, and following relatively recent amendments, even grandparents can donate organs to the needy person. They are all considered first degree relatives. This is because we share some genetic material with our first degree relatives, and the chances of a successful transplantation are increased if the donor is related in this manner to the recipient. On the other hand, even spouse can voluntarily donate an organ to his or her mate, and this is also legally allowed under the same Transplantation of Human Organs Act. Any living donor on these presented to an authorization committee in each state of India for their willingness to donate organs, which ensures that there is no monetary transaction happening, that the person is truly donating out of altruism. So he or she could be your first cousin, your aunt or uncle, but this relationship has to be proved through genetic testing as well as interview by the authorization committee. Only then, under this particular Transplantation of Human Organs Act, permission is given by the authorization committee set up by the state to donate an organ to such a needy person. Regarding the living donor program, in case of deceased donors, there is no such compulsion. People who have listed themselves for a cadaver organ transplantation, that is deceased donor organ transplantation.
Dr. Sharma, you're talking about, people giving an authorization, a will to harvest the organs after the death of that person. This is very tricky issue actually, when a person authorizes some organization or the government to harvest the organs, he does it at one point of time, and, when an incident happens after many years, there won't be any record, or there won't be people who know that he has authorized and he has kind of given authorization for donating the organs. So how does this actually work?
I'll tell you. Once you have willed your organs during your lifetime, you actually sign your willingness, and in return you are given a donor card. A copy of that is kept by the center which has enrolled you in the organ donation program. You are supposed to go and inform your next of kin. Say in case I will my organ, I am supposed to immediately inform my wife that in case I am declared brain stem dead, before you cremate me, you please authorize the hospital to retrieve whatever organs can be utilized from my body, and only then hand over the dead body to you. Of course, in Indian ethos, there is a lot of sentimentality and people very distinct about it, but it is important to inform your next of kin, because after your death, your next of kin is the only person who is the legal owner of your dead body. So, his or her consent is very, very important, and so you should inform them the day you sign such a card. I have another take on this. With the same donor card, which is a standard calling card size card, it can be blown up to a 4x2 image, 4 feet by 2 feet image, and the individual puts it somewhere in his house or in his workplace, behind his working desk, behind his head, and over the next 10, 12, 15 years, each of his next of kin is reminded that this man has willed his organs away. I think does happen. You are diagnosed to have brain stem death and you are being kept artificially alive on life support. They would more willingly offer their consent because they've had long willingness to donate organs through that card, through the facsimile of that card which you place somewhere important enough place in your house, maybe your bedroom, or suppose you are a working person, behind your desk in your office. So that if such a thing, because nobody is going to look for that little card the size of a calling card when you are diagnosed with brainstem death. So either your next of kin should be coming forward willingly, or you can certainly keep reminding them by putting this facsimile of this card in a prominent place in your house or in your work.
Dr. Sharma, you are a nephrologist. I'm sure you would be handling cases where there has been a kidney transplant. Tell us about the success rate of these transplants, especially kidney.
Modern medicine, we have achieved some very amazing success rates the world over. For instance, kidneys are the organs that are actually the simplest to transplant. A 1 year survival of a recipient has crossed 95% in most of the transplant centers. By that I mean, if 100 people are given a kidney transplant, 95 of them would still be alive and doing well at the end of first year of transplant. And the 5 years survival, that is such an organ after transplantation, the 5 years survival is already touching values of 85%. Now, this means after 5 years we stop counting because the organ becomes as good as your own. So the small percentage of people who we say did not do well, it could be many causes, including a surgical mishap during surgery, a large bleed, or the body rejecting the transplanted organ. Yeah. Immunologically rejecting this as non-self. Just as to fight disease, we need an immunity which decides this is not my own, this is non-self, say a bacterium or a fungus, and the body fights against that. Similarly, when an organ is transplanted, the body is capable of recognizing that this is not my organ. So, if the organ is well matched and the immunosuppression that we give is adequate, body can be made to accept such an organ. But rejections do happen. Immunological process of rejection do happen. And so this is the survival rate now. In case of kidney, better than 95% 1 year survival and nearly 85% 5 year survival. The percentages are lesser with difficult to transplant organs like liver and heart, but there again the success is better than 50%. So if you transplanted individuals with a cardiac transplant, chances are that one of them would still be alive and doing well at the end of 1 year.
Dr. Sharma, I want to talk to you about this emotive issue, where a person decides to donate his entire body or the body organs after his death and, talks to his family members and, next of kin and all. In a country like India, there are religious issues related to this. There are, even at times superstitions, like some people believe that, if organ is removed from your body before cremation, in the next birth, you would be born without that organ and all. These are all kind of superstitions. Don't you think we need to create awareness at a big level in order to, counter all these issues?
To that, I have only this to say that I have also studied scriptures of various religions and the rest of the transplantation world has also looked into them. Believe you me, there is no religion that says that you cannot donate organs. Soul never dies. This message has to go across that there are no religious taboos on donation of organs.
Well, we have come to the end of this program, and we all do, understand and acknowledge the fact that organ donation is of utmost importance, especially in a country like India. Dr. Sharma, thank you so much for joining us in this program.
I'm grateful to you for having invited me.
You were listening to a discussion on 99th edition of Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat, organ donation and its importance. The participants were Dr. Lieutenant General Umesh Kumar Sharma, renowned nephrologist and renal transplantation specialist in Pushpawati Singhania Hospital and Research Institute, and S. Rangabashyam, AIR correspondent. This program was produced and presented by the News Service Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsdtalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 9289094044.